What's up, everybody? We are going to be putting a new layer fan on our Sovol SV06. This is the last upgrade. I'm going to be doing this before this goes into its new home on Chris's desk. So this is going to give us better cooling when we're printing. The fan that's on there is okay. It's what most printers come with, which are those tiny little 4010 fans. I did put a link in the video description to the fan, the screw assortment, and I think I'm forgetting something. The screw assortment and a link to our contact form if you do want us to print this for you. We do offer printing services, so if you guys want these in ABS, which I do personally print all my ducts in ABS, just because these are going to be right near our hot ends heater block, which gets warm. On a lot of ducts like this, if they're really close to the block, they can start sagging over time. You know, and I've even had that with like PLA pluses that some people like. I'd rather just print it once and not have to worry about it for a long time. So the one thing I did not put in the description is a link to the fan. So I'm going to go ahead and update that right now. So give me 1 second here. Now put that here, STL. And updated. So if you guys refresh the page, you guys should see the link there. So we're going to be doing something. See, 3D Sprinter says he likes the waiting music. That waiting music is actually my friend's husband. It's his like band, and it's called From Zero to Z. They're actually on like Spotify and Apple Music and everything. We actually pay them a monthly like fee to use their music, and I do actually listen to it outside of the stream, so check it out. It's called From Zero to Z. I think I have a link for that in the description, because we've been using his stuff for a while. Yeah, it is. There's a link to his Bandcamp at the bottom, which is what we subscribe through. So, but they're on all the music services. I'm on Spotify. We have their like premium plan, and he's on there. So, all right. Yeah. So we're going to jump into this. This is going to be a short stream. Replacing your fan is fairly easy. And with any printer, it's basically going to consist of getting rid of the old fan, you know, so cutting the wires. We're going to check the polarity just to make sure that, you know, the red wire is positive, the black wire is negative, because a lot of these printers either don't have a red-black color scheme, or sometimes I've seen them where black is positive and red is negative. So I always check on a machine before I change the fan out. Then once we do that, we're going to put the new mount on there, which is a printed part. And then we're going to put the fan on there and get ourselves some better cooling. So, yeah. Anyways, let's see here. Let me switch over to my other camera here. There we go. And I'm just going to turn the main cam off because you guys don't need to see the back of my head while I'm doing this. So, I got my SV06 here. I'm going to unplug the power cord. Just for now, we're going to plug it back in. And you can see here, the SV06 actually has the cable for the layer fan going to the bottom. So the fan we're replacing is this guy right here. So, and I'm just going into this blind. I've done many layer fan upgrades. They're basically all the same process. You got to get the old fan off and you know, get everything spliced in. So I'm going to go ahead, and since I'm not going to reuse this fan, because I use the same fan here and on the side, if you want, actually what I might do, I might keep it as a spare, even though we do sell these, but I hate wasting things. So I'm going to cut this right about here. We got our 2 fan wires there now, and there's still a little bit left on the stock fan, so we can use this as a spare on the other side. All right. Now, I'm going to take my filament out, so I'm going to clip this and take it off the spool, because I can't tell you how many times I've been working on a printer and I tip it back and I forget that the spool's on it and the spool goes flying. All right. Let's get our old one off, and then we'll get the new mount prepped. So I'm going to try to get my camera in here. I'm trying to see where this is going to go. I'm going to move the Z up and make sure these wires don't touch, and then turn the power back on. And I'm going to make this go all the way to the top, because, dear God, it's going to take forever to do it on my own. All right. I'm assuming these are going into a plug on here. A lot of, it looks like all the connectors on here are on a plug, but we're going to move our Z all the way to the top, and I'm just going to go on the screen. I'm going to go motion and then do the auto Z align. So I did the auto Z align, and then I'm just going to cut the power once it gets to the top. There we go. This is so much faster than me doing it by hand. Almost there. So we just want to get that clearance to work on it. So I'm going to go, it should start slowing down in a sec here. There it goes. And wait till it get all the way to the top. And let it come down a sec, and then I'll turn it off because we do want to have some clearance here. And there we go, power off. Why do the work when the machine will do it for you? All right. So it looks like we take the fan off. There's 4 screws on the fan. You see these guys? It looks like we take the fan off, and then we can get this stock bracket off. And then this is the new duct that's going to bolt onto the rear. I got to take the supports off, but we'll get to that in a sec. So let's get the stock fan off here. Yeah, I see the plug there now. So I'm going to take this off. Is this the only one there? I gotta take my hat off. My hat gets in the way sometimes. All right. There we go. I got the plug here. These are, I can't remember what these are. These are tiny little JSTs. I'm going to reuse that stock cable. I actually do not have those. The only crimps I have are the SMs and the XHs. I'm going to see if a 1.5 millimeter bit fits here. Booyah. And it looks like there's 4 screws on here. Waiting for that other one to fall out. There's one. Come on. Come out of here. There we go. Yay, magnetic screwdrivers. And I'm taking the ones out on the other side. Well, that one just fell out. These are tiny little M2 screws. Oh, and there we go. Stock fan is down. You can see here, just a little cheapy 4010 fan, nothing special. And then here's the fan duct. This is actually kind of interesting. So they do have it. So this went right in there. It does have like a little side thing here. So a little bit better than the Creality one, and it is injection molded. We got 2 M3s in the bottom here. If you guys can see them, let me tilt it up. See those little holes there? There's M3s in those holes. We're going to take those 2 screws out to get rid of the stock duct, or stock mounting block, I should say. Force said it's PH2 question mark. SKL says 1.5 XM if I remember right. Okay. I don't do enough with those. Oh wait. I was like, why is this spinning in the screw? I grabbed the 2.0 hex or Allen key instead of the 2.5. All right, there's one screw. And there's a second one. So you can see, well, that just went on the floor. You can see there's 2 screws. And it does look like you can actually adjust it too. They have some travel in the design there, so you can adjust it. All right, I'm gonna take the I don't know if we're gonna reuse the other screws. I should probably pull the printables page up. But this new one will actually mount to the rear. So there's an adapter plate here. That's part of the new fan duct system. So this goes on the back, and then the new duct slides into here. So if we look, I believe it's meant to go right here on these two screws here. Yep, I don't know if we're going to need longer screws. We're going to find out. I'm going to pull the printables page up really quick, so give me just a second. I'm going to pull the printables page up. All right, let's see. So I'm going to look at the original one. So I printed the the one that's up on screen, the rounded corners one. I'm looking to see, let's say, so 2 M3 by 20 bolts and washers needed for the printed mount to replace the two 16 millimeter bolts. Does he have this? Okay, so he has the parts here. So 2 M3 by 20s, I have those in my screw kit. So those are for the rear, and then 1 M3 by 12, I have those as well, plus a nut to secure the printed mount to the fan duct. And then 1 M4 by 25, that's an odd size, plus nut to secure the fan to the printed mount. M4 is, I don't think M4 will fit through most 5015 fans. That's a really large size. I mean, I have M4s. I don't know if I have 25s. I have M3 by 25s. I'll probably use an M3 by 25. Oh, wow, I've actually never checked. But an M4 actually does fit through the screw holes. So I have M4 by 20s in my assortment here. I also have M3 by 25, so we'll make it work. So we're going to take 2 M3 by 20s and we're going to go into the rear. And looking at this, this little guy is going to go up here. Let's go ahead and get those stock ones out. I'm going to try to get this so I can work on this and still give you guys a nice camera shot. You just zoom in, get the camera all framed up here. All right. I'm gonna double check. Does he recommend washers? He does not recommend washers. I'll look at the makes on here really quick. I'm going back to my computer, just seeing what other people did. It does look like other people are using washers on these. We're going to see how it is without them. I'm going to just check. So let me grab my 20s. Yeah, I'd probably say use washers. Even a printed washer would be fine. So I'm going to go, let me go under my desk and grab I have M3 washers in my drawer. Just because I don't know how integral those are, and I don't want the screws going through the printed part. All right, a little washer on there. I'm going to tighten this up just a little bit, just to keep it in place. And I'm not going to tighten that fully down until we place the until we place the duct on here, so we can get it all aligned with the nozzle. All right, I'm going to turn the autofocus off on the camera. It keeps focusing on my hand. I guess it's doing its job, but we want it to stay in focus. There we go. It'll stay focused, and even if my hand comes here, it'll stay focused on the carriage. All right, so I got to take the supports off here, so give me a sec. I'm going to grab these with my pliers. ABS supports. Almost done. I know I forgot to do some prep work before the stream, and that was removing supports. But they're coming out. Now, one thing I did have to do, which is why the supports are not coming out as clean as they normally do, is I had to lower my layer fan to a slower setting because this part here kept warping up from the cooling. And when you're printing ABS, the layer fan does help give you nicer supports, but it can overcool things. So, but they come out. Just gotta, oh, look at that. It came right out of there. Okay. We got the supports removed. All right, so this is gonna go here, and it looks like this is the bolt. This is where the M4 goes through, they're saying. And then there's an M3 here. There's a little nut capture on the inside. See that little nut capture there? So I'm gonna take an M3 nut and place it in there. And then that'll go through here. I'm gonna use another washer on that side too. So I'm not gonna show you guys I'm not gonna show putting the nut in here because this is gonna be a pain to try to show and do at the same time. So just bear with me. I got to get a little M3 nut into that hole right there. We're getting close. I'm going to take my pliers and squeeze it. There we go. Say it's in the part there. And what did they call for? I think they said a M3 by 12. So they want to see an M3 by 12 for here. I got to restock mine because apparently I'm down to the last M3 by 12. Actually, fun fact, look at the screws we took out of here are M3 by 12s. So the stock screws are M3 by 12s. Although, look at, that's going to be way too long and going to the fan. Is that going to hit the fan or is that going to sit? We're just checking the fitment here. So our fan fits perfectly in there. But M3 by 12 is going to be way too long for that. I think those are wrong. Is that a 12? I'm going to measure it. Hang on. Nope, those are 15. So the stock ones are 15. So 12 is too long. So the 12, what was in my 12 spot in my assortment, because this is one I've had for a bit here, was not the correct screw. I thought it looked off. Will M3 by 8 work? I'm going to see if an M3 by 8 will fit. M3 by 8 goes into the nut. We'll go into the nut and through the part. Nope. Let me go. I got another screw assortment here. Apparently M3 by 12s are a popular size I use, which is why they're all used up in my assortment. But that's okay. I've got another one right here. And all right, here's what it calls for M3 by 12. I am going to put a washer on here. I don't even know where these M3 washers came from. I've had them for years. All right. All right, so you can adjust this. I'm not going to tighten that down. It says an M4, what did it say? M4 by 25 for the fan. The M4 by 20 is going to be close. Let me see if I can make that thread in. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I can make an M3 by 25 work, which is in my assortment. We're going to bite into the nut, or do we not have the length? Oh, we don't have the length. All right, I'm just going to use an M3 by 25. And, yeah, send it. So I'm going to put the M3 by 25 in the hole here. And that comes through the other side. There we go. All right. And I'm going to put the nut on the end here. All right. That bit in. Now we just got to adjust this. So I want to adjust the duct here so that way it's sitting higher than the nozzle. If it's not sitting higher than the nozzle, then it's going to hit the print bed. And then I'm going to tighten everything up. So I still have these like loose a little bit. I'm just going to back this off a little bit. So I have some adjustment here, and then we'll tighten everything up once we get into the spot we want it. Come over at the front here. And we're just going to get this. So if you see here, we can go way too far down. So I'm going to see if I can get you guys in a view where it's like, there you go. So you see what I mean? This is going to be too far down. So we want this up just a little bit. And I'm happy with that. I'm going to go to the rear of the fan and I'm going to tighten this all up now. Or the rear of the mount, I should say. Do I need to adjust it left or right? I kind of want to have it centered, so just play with it. Like I said, leave those screws loose. And then once you get in the spot you want, tighten everything down. So I'm tightening on the ones on the carriage. All right, the carriage ones are tightened, so it won't move side to side anymore. I have this at the height I want, so I want it right there. Now I'm going to tighten the side ones down. So the M3 by 12, I'm tightening down. All right, and I'm going to tighten the other one, the M3 by 25. And I'm just going to go around the back. I'll flip it around and show you guys. So I've already tightened up these two here. This is the side-to-side adjustment. And I've already tightened this one down, which controls the height. And the last one is this guy here. So I'm just going to grab that with my pliers here and tighten it down. There we go. So last step we got to do is splice these in, and then we're done. I told you this is going to be a quick stream. So I'm going to unwrap the wire here. I don't know what side I'm going to come around here with the wire. So we do give you a decent amount of wire to work with. And the fans do come with a little 2-pin. We're going to cut this off since obviously this board needs a smaller one. I think I'm just going to come down right here along the side here and kind of slip it. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Nice and simple. The other thing is this blocks the port. The duct blocks the port. So I'm going to have to take the duct. I'm going to have to loosen these up and I'm going to have to loosen that up to get to the port. Or actually, I can just take the M3s out. Either way, we're going to have to move stuff to get to it because since I unplugged this from the carriage, I can't actually put this back in with this in the way. So I know the port's like right here. I want to kind of gauge where this is going to need to go. So I'm going to cut my wires like right about here. And then we're going to splice this in. So now if you use our, if you get the fans from us, we do include quick connects, but for something like this, I would definitely recommend soldering just because of how compact this is. I don't like using the quick connects on my hot ends because there's extra bulk then, and it just kind of doesn't look as nice. I understand not everybody knows how to solder, so that's why we include those. But again, if you are watching this and you have a printer and you don't own a soldering iron, go buy one, even just a little cheap one. All right, before I splice this in, remember I said we're going to check the polarity, so I'm going to strip these, and we're going to need to check the polarity. Come on. And I need to plug this in to do that. So how are we going to do this? I think I'm just going to drop the carriage down. So I take this screw out, take these two out, we should be able to get to the plug. I'll do a test print. I'll do a Cali drag and see how that comes out. Gotta move my sensor out the way. All right, now this should come off. Yep, there we go. Now I can get the access to the plug. Now, I'm not tightening these down all the way. I just don't want this falling off. So we're going to check the polarity. Then we're going to unplug it, do the splice, and then plug it in once we check the polarity and do our splicing. So I'm going to grab my multimeter here. I'm going to assume that red is black, or red is positive, black is negative, but we want to be sure. You don't know. So I'm going to set my multimeter here to the DC side, and we're going to take a measurement with the layer fan on. So let me zoom out here. Get that all in focus. All right. Make sure these don't touch, because if they touch, they can short the board out. All right, so the printer's turning on. I'm just waiting for the screen to come up. I'm going to turn the layer fan on, which will then turn these power on. So if I put my meter on here, we're not going to see anything. Like, say, not going to see anything on there until we turn it on. So I'm going to my screen, I go to temperature, and then go to fan speed. I'm going to turn it to 100%, turn it on, and let's see, is black negative and red positive? It is. There we go. So here we go, 25.57. I did adjust my mean well to put out a little more than 24 volts because I like it to heat up slightly quicker. All right, so we know the polarity is good. Red is black, or red is positive, black is negative. We'll go ahead and pop this off real quick, and we're going to solder this plug onto the new fan wires. And then that'll be it. We'll run a quick little test print. I like the idea of the Cali Dragon. It's a quick little test print we're going to do. So let me spin this back over. And I'm going to get this all soldered up. I do have my heat shrink assortment here. I don't carry heat shrink assortments, but you guys can find those anywhere, really. Even AutoZone carries heat shrink assortments. Did you guys know that? They actually carry quite a bit of electrical stuff. All right, so I'm going to put the heat shrink over these before I solder. These are going to be a little close. You know what? We're gonna double heat shrink this so it looks nice. I'm gonna put a longer one here and push this back. Give me 1 sec. I'm just snipping my heat shrink because we want this to be nice and clean. All right. I'll put my shorter heat shrink onto the wires here. And this stuff like this is why I say you should have a soldering iron if you have a printer. Because upgrades and stuff, like there's so many people that like they don't have a soldering iron. Like doing a nice clean install on something like this is not going to happen. I'm grabbing my trusty Hako. It's heating up right now. And while that's doing the thing, I'm gonna twist these two together here. All right. And then we're gonna take my soldering iron. I dipped it in a little brass cleaner, and I'm just gonna take this, touch it to the wires, and then feed some solder in after I let it sit for a sec. There we go. You don't need a lot. Just touch it. And we're gonna repeat that for the black. So make sure these are even length here. All right, and now to solder the black one. All right, so again, we're just gonna touch the iron to the bare wires, give it a sec to heat them up, and then feed the solder in. And that's all you need, just a little bit. All right. That's already cooled down. I'm going to slide my small heat shrink over the joints. Just like that. And then I'm going to hit it with my little heat gun. If you guys want a recommendation on a heat gun, this little guy I literally just use for I use this for doing heat shrink. That's all I use it for. So if you look up that, it is, what is the brand? There you go. Chandler Tools. I've had this thing for like 6 years. And it's not the cheapest one, but for lower temp stuff like this, it's great. All right, and just because I'm feeling extra, I'm going to put this over, the bigger one over here. Oh, look how nice that's going to be. All right, now I just got to plug it in and put the screws back on. All right. So I want this to come back through here. I'm putting it through the side here. That little plug fits in there nicely. So I just slipped it through there. Come back over to the front here. Now we got to plug this back into the control board. All right. And then put our screws back in. And I got to put my sensor back on. And I'm going to check my sensor mounting distance since I dismounted it. Anytime you work on your hot end or dismount the sensor, you should always recheck and make sure that everything is triggering correctly, meaning not necessarily recalibrating it, I should say, but making sure that you have it mounted so that it triggers before your nozzle hits the bed. Because you don't want the sensor triggering after the nozzle hits the bed, because that's how you end up with a head crash. All right. Pop this back in there. Now, if I can remember what I did with the nut for the sensor, that would be great. I don't know what happened to it. I obviously need that. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. It was on the extrusion. I got it. And I'm just going to leave these loose because I'm going to drop this back down to the bed and make sure, like, eyeballing it, it looks okay. But I want to make sure. All right, I'm powering it back on. Before I do the sensor, I'm going to check to make sure the fan works. So you guys can see the fan back there. I'm going to tell it to kick the fan on. I'm just waiting for the screen to come up. All right, temperature, fan speed. Let's set it to 100%. Oh, holy shit. That is so much air. That is a lot of air. Do I have like a lighter or something? There's so much air coming out of this thing. Okay, so this duct is fairly well done. And I can feel it pinpointing it right by the nozzle. Oh, hang on. Oh, it's not showing it. Hang on. Give me a sec. I couldn't see it on video, but how did that look? How did that look? Did that illustrate the airflow? Okay. Yeah, no, this thing is moving some air. It's exactly what I want for my 50-15 setups. All right, so I'm just going to check my ABL sensor real quick. Didn't break anything there. I am going to tell it to home. And then I'm going to put my finger below it once we get to the bottom. And then I'm going to manually just double check. I think we'll be good. I'm pretty good at remounting my sensors. All right, I'm just going to double check that I have it at the right height by moving it down. I can feel the air coming off of the bed from that thing. There's some shmoo on my nozzle. There's some filament there that's preventing it from going down all the way. So I'm going to take that off. There we go. All right. One more time. It is definitely louder than stock, but you can run it slower. Like if you ran this fan at half speed, it'd probably be about the same. But here's the thing. If you want to move air, it's going to make noise. These fans we sell are very, very fast. All right, so my nozzle's on the bed. I'm a little close on the probe, so I'm just going to loosen the knob up. I don't need to recalibrate it. I just need to make sure the height is correct. That's it. All right. How many of you guys have our 50-15 fans? I have them on almost, well, basically almost every printer I have has 5015s, unless I didn't feel like modifying. I think the Zeltec Gear, and actually I think out of all the printers in my office, only 1 out of 7 don't have a 5015, and that's because it's the Zeltec Gear and there's no 5015 mounts for it. All right, so my sensor's back where it's supposed to be. I'm going to go ahead and just auto home, and I'm going to go ahead and print a Cali Dragon. I think the SD card still has the Cali Dragon on here. So let me go ahead and we'll do the same test I did. There we go. I'm going to auto Z align since I was messing with it. I can feel that air like feet back from here coming off of that duct. That's more of a testament to our fan too, but it also shows me that the designer actually got it so it flows really well. Yeah, so there we go. It's all mounted up. It's heating up right now. I'm just keep using this roll of atomic I have laying around. Yeah, I have 2 with dual 5015s. Big Bertha's got duals. And the Ender 5 Plus has got duals because why the hell not? But for most people, for like 99% of people, a single setup like this is great. As much as I'd love to sell you 2 fans, I'll be honest with you, for most people, this is more than enough. All right. My hot end's at temp, so I can take the filament out. And then we'll run a quick test print. I think I still have those test prints sitting on my desk. They're somewhere. The Cali Dragon. So I can basically do an A-B comparison to show you guys what the difference is. I do like this little knobs. I do like this printer. Like, aside from the board, the crappy board and power supply, everything else is actually pretty nice on this. Like, I would buy another one of these if I needed printers. All right, so I'm just flushing the nozzle out. That's why I'm giving it extra turns. But I'm going to go ahead and print. And, yep, Cali Dragon's on my SD card. Get the blob out of the way. Come on. There we go. No, the probe because here's the thing, the stock probe, I suspect that the reason it's not super accurate is it's only a 5-volt probe. These run on 24. They run 12 to 24, so these work on both 12 and 24 volt printers. And the thing is, the lower voltage probes don't always have the best accuracy, and on top of that, you're running it through this ribbon cable with all these other signals. This wire on our EasyABL, and we're one of the, as far as I know, we're one of the only companies that has a fully shielded wire. So this has a full ground shield, dual layer insulation, or dual layer shielding on here. So there's a foil layer and a wire mesh to get any sort of interference away from the sensor, and this goes all the way back to our board. And then our board itself that drives the sensor has power filter and everything. So the goal is to get as clean of a signal as possible from the sensor. So, and you're not going to get that running it through the little control board. So I'm willing to bet between, stock, between the crappy power supply, the clone chip board, and like just everything adding up, that's probably why so many people are having issues with these. Your first generation EasyABL will not work because those were 12 volts only, and this is a 24 volt machine. The V3.1, if you have a really old probe, like they were talking, this is like probably 4 years ago, that will be dual voltage. But all the Pro, if you have an EasyABL Pro, those are 12 to 24. All right, I'm just checking my first layer. I'm a little close just because I remounted the probe. But I'm going to baby step it. There we go. Looking good. I must have the probe a little bit further away, or a little bit closer to the bed than I did before, but just adjust our offset. There we go. We still have some V1 and V2s running in the print farm tour. Believe it or not. All right. Here's the other thing. You guys can actually see the print. It's going to be hard for me to get down in here with the camera. I'm going to do my best. But look how much easier you can see the print with this too. Like versus the stock setup. Let's see if I can get some more light in here too. Now here's the thing. This could also possibly trigger a thermal runaway because of the flare fan. So if that happens, if you guys, and this on any printer, if you have a thermal runaway after you change your cooling setup, run a PID tune with the fan on, and that will usually get rid of that. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with your machine. It just means that it's being overcooled. I'm trying to get more light in here. There we go. All right, let me see if I can find that other print that I printed with that same G code. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we'll compare it and see. I mean, the stock print was pretty good, but for example, on the stock print with the stock cooling, or the print with the stock cooling, look at the ear, look at the little horns here. Do you see how it's like kind of blah there? I'd expect to see these improved with this new fan. Do you see how they're kind of droopy there? But overall, this was not a bad print. I think this is the Easy Board one. Yeah, this is the Easy Board test print. What else would we probably see an improvement on? Basically, anywhere there's like overhangs, we're going to see. So, but we'll let this go. So it's the same filament that I did that test print I just showed in. Same G code. The only difference is the fan. And since Sovol does have the silicone sock on that hot end, I'm actually not seeing any issues with the temperature dropping, even with that layer fan at 100%. So, while we wait for this to print, do you guys have any questions about the SV06? How many of you guys have? I'll turn my camera back on so you guys can see me. Hello. Do you guys have any questions about the SV06? I do see Michael Courier say, is baby stepping between prints normal? Yeah, for most people. And that's mainly because your printer is going to have things that are expanding and contracting at different rates. Certain printers, like, for example, my Ender 6, I barely ever have to touch that one, but that's also a very rigid structure. You know, but my Ender 3S1, where it's got the left and right Z locked in, I rarely have to touch that one. My Ender 3 Pro, which has our dual Z kit, again, I rarely have to touch that one. I've noticed on printers where there's more chances for things to move on their own, and things that go out of adjustment, you will have to baby step, but that's what that feature is there for. So yes, baby stepping a little bit on any printer with an ABL sensor is going to be normal, because you're never going to have the same exact reading every single time, because every time you heat up the bed and cool it down, it's going to be slightly different geometry every single time. So, but I don't know about you guys, I'd much rather press the button on the LCD twice and turn a knob instead of messing with bed knobs while the printer's going. I'll take that take that over screwing with bed wheels any day. Is this my last upgrade to the SV06? I'm going to assume so. I can't think of anything else to put on here. The stock extruder's pretty good. I've done what I usually do to most printers. So, you know, put our ABL on here. The Easy ABL is on there. It's got our Easy Board V2. Meanwhile, power supply. The upgraded layer fan. It's got a filament sensor now. I can't think of anything else. It's even got the Easy Nail. So, like, yeah. Am I missing something? I feel like I've done all the upgrades I can do. It already has strain relief in there, which I just realized the one side popped out of the clip from when I was messing with it, but I'll pop that in after the print. Can you add real end? You can run real end stops on the stock board, but I like the sensorless homing works well enough, and the Easy Board V2 works great because we do have sensorless homing on there, which is another thing I was. Someone asked if we were going to do firmware for this for the 427 board. The 427 board will not work with this printer because that 427 board from Creality doesn't support sensorless homing, and there's no end stops on here. So, yeah, and like, If you wanted to put end stops on here, you could, but you're going to have to design your own mounts to actually physically put them on there and then run wires. You know, the big issue with sensorless homing and its accuracy really comes from if you're using the power resume feature, which I don't use, because the positioning on sensorless homing can vary wildly between homing. It works well enough to get the rough position, but you know, when you're doing the what's the word I'm looking for? When you're doing the power resume feature, it needs to be super accurate on the XY. Otherwise, when you resume it, the part has a shift in it. Why am I doing infill? Because that's how I sliced it. I think it's like 15%. That print's coming out real clean, though, I'll tell you that. Now, the test prints I showed you guys, I actually hit those with my heat gun to get rid of the wispies. And I'm not seeing many wispies at all. I'm looking at my camera view just like you guys are looking at because it's easier to see. But I'm not seeing any sort of wispies, and that would be due to the better cooling. So we'll see once it gets up to the top details if it's going to have little stringing and stuff. Because if you have poor layer cooling, like the stock cooling setup has, you're more likely to have stringy or little wispies, that I call them, on your prints. 3 walls, yeah, these are my default print settings. So like when we print parts for you guys, we're doing them strong. So when I run prints, these are the settings I use. Because I'm not going to remember to change the walls just for a test print. And plus, I want it to look nice. It is printing really well. This stock extruder is pretty good on here. I do like it. It's probably one of the best stock extruders I've found on a printer, to be completely honest. Because it is geared. It's a direct drive. I like it a little bit more than Creality's Sprite extruder. But the Sprite extruder is actually a nice little stock extruder. Am I going to update the Plus model? Yeah, it's going to get the same treatment. The next printer, because I don't think the Plus is going to be here soon. The next printer I'm going to finish up in doing upgrades, so you guys will see more videos for it, will be the SV01 Pro, which is currently sitting on the floor. I basically had to get this one done before I can work on another one, so that'll be the next one. Oh, I saw one little string there. I think I'm running this at 210. Yeah, I got this set to 210. This is Atomic's PLA. I think the profile I'm using for this is actually from my Ender 3 S1. I just changed the bed size. Because they're very similar setups. They're both direct drives. Any opinion on the Micro Swiss NG? I haven't used them, but we do have Micro Swiss stuff on order. So if you guys are looking to get Micro Swiss stuff, we should have them in a couple of weeks. And I ordered some for myself and my staff because we're going to put some on our printers to play with. But my buddy John over at Tripod's Garage, he has the NG on 1 or 2 of his machines. I know he has at least one of them, and he likes them. That is a clean print. I'm wondering if we're going to see a better surface quality with the better cooling. I mean, I have the stock cooling test prints here. I kind of want to speed this up, but I also don't want it to be like an unfair comparison, because if obviously you speed things up, the print quality goes down a little bit. If I had to choose between the S1 Pro and the Sovol SV06, I would go with the SV06 because the SV06 is a better buy. I thought the Ender 3 S1 was overpriced to begin with, and the Pro is even more expensive, and the Pro also has a really crappy touchscreen on it. I would go with an SV06 over an Ender 3 S1 or S1 Pro. I'm not saying the S1 and the S1 Pro are bad. I'm just saying, bang for the buck, I would take an SV06 over those machines. So, and I paid full retail price for all these. These were not given to me. We literally paid what you guys would pay for these printers. So, I would take an SV06 over an Ender 3S1. Have I ever done a video on how you profile and tune new filaments for your farm? So the funny thing is, one of the reasons we don't ever change filament brands, or haven't in many years, we print with coax a lot in our farm, almost exclusively. I would say like 99% of the time we're printing with coax in our print farm. I say 99% because I'm sure there's times when we don't, for like one-off stuff. But that's one of the reasons we stick with coax, is because I don't have to be constantly messing with our profiles, because I know that if I buy a roll from them, it's going to print how I expect it to, and I'm not having to screw with profiles. So yeah, the SV06 has a touchscreen. We're going to be getting rid of that. It's the same crappy touchscreen they use on the SV01 Pro. So yeah, we'll be doing a conversion kit to get rid of it. I already know that. Yeah, I really like the SV06. I really do. Like I said, the only reason I'm willing to look past the clone processor and the knockoff power supply is because it's priced accordingly. If this was a $300 plus printer, I would say probably not, because of those things, because those are like almost deal breakers for me. But it's priced cheap enough where you can replace the board and replace the power supply and get rid of those two, Achilles heels of the machine. Because like that stock processor on the stock board is a knockoff GD32 processor, and you're just limited on what you can do with it, and the print quality is worse. So this has our EasyBoard V2 in it. This is not running the stock board. You can do this upgrade to the layer fan on the stock board, but if you guys look at the stream we did, the Ask Tim stream we did yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I showed side-by-side comparison of the stock board versus ours, and our board does produce cleaner results. Everything the same, just the only difference is the board. But I think Crystal will be really happy with this printer. I think she's going to like it, because she's been using the Ender 2 Pro, which has been a great machine. It's got, our board in there, a Revo hot end, a bunch of upgrades and stuff, but the build volume, she's finally outgrowing that. She wants to print stuff that's larger, so this will give her that opportunity to print things larger. How do I feel about the bed not having support for power cables? I see somebody follows Joel Telling. The bed does have support on these. It has a strain relief. I think they did fine with that. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It's tied to the bed. Yep, just double checked. It's tied to the bed. Wildcat says he's got the Micro Swiss NGs. He's got 4 of them. They work really well. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to start selling them, because I think Micro Swiss makes good stuff. Sean, our print farm tech, he is a huge Micro Swiss whore. He loves them. He's got Micro Swisses on a lot of his machines. He's got our stuff on a lot of his machines. I don't even know how many printers he has, but he's got probably, I want to say he's up to 7 or 8, if not more than that. I mean, looking at the preview, the print looks really nice. I'm just looking at what was printed there. It might even be a nicer print quality than the previous 2 test prints I did. We'll look at them side by side. Yeah, this is from Atomic. They're one of my other favorite brands. They're actually out of Indiana. And we would carry them if they allowed resellers, but they don't allow resellers, so that's the only reason they're not in our shop. Is they only sell direct. So, but I think I bought this roll at Murph last year. I opened it a couple weeks ago. Do I want the tiny dog? I mean, I'll take him if you don't want him. Tor, you know this. I see I do have a couple of wispies there. And I'm wondering if I need to up the retraction on this. Because like I said, I literally took my Ender 3 S1 profile and just changed the bed size. And that's what this is printing with. Which is coming out pretty good. Yeah, Atomic's Pet G is really nice. Coex has really good Pet G. I see Dan's hitting on me. Sorry, Dan, I'm taken. I'll tell your wife. Behave. Printer's printing. It's so captivating. I will say, aside from the better layer cooling, I think my other favorite part about this upgrade is you can actually see the nozzle from the front of the printer. With that stock one, getting rid of the stock one, I should say. Apparently I can't talk. Incoming tiny dog. I don't see it. Oh, wait. He's in the garage. I gotta let him in. Hi, Tommy. And we are crazy. Come here. Come on. Come here. Nope. Do not turn the power strip off. Get away from the power strip. Oh! There it is. Hi. Yeah, he's not so tiny anymore. He's got to be at least 40 pounds by now. I don't know if he's going to be bigger than Remo, or if they're going to be about the same size. Because Remo's right around 80 to 85 pounds is where he's kind of leveled off at. You need to get away from the power strip that's on my desk, because your tail or your butt's going to turn it off. All right. Get out from under the desk. He keeps going under my desk, and you guys can't see it, but there's a power strip down, right down here on the leg, and the buttons in a pretty easily accessible spot, and it's right at dog butt height. Go lay down, or go attack your brother. Get him. Get him, Remo. Get him. Get Comet. Get him. Oh, no. So I do see some wispies here. You can see them down there. I'm wondering if that's my fault or if that's the cooling's fault. I'm going to assume it's probably my fault given the fact that there's a shit ton of air coming out of there. I'm going to open my profile and see what I have the retraction set up. Because I think just bumping up a little bit would probably get rid of that. I should print a power switch cover. That'd be great. Let me see here. Dogs, get out from under my desk. Now Rima's going under there. What do you guys want? Why are y'all being annoying? You're making me regret letting you come out here. For real. Alright, let's see. Hey! Comet's sticking his freaking nose in the trash. Alright, let's see. I actually got to start up a print here. While we're waiting for that one to go, we're going to start up another print here on my my AM8 here. So I can show you guys too if you want to see. This is my workflow. So basically, I sliced the file. I saved it to my G-code folder. So I got a customer. He wants this is the 5015 duct for the S1. So this is our file where we fixed it. So I sliced this up for my AM8, which is one of my enclosed printers. He wants it in ABS. So I'm going to upload the file to my Pi here. And now if you look here, it's off, and there's a print on. There's another SV06 duct on here. I got a few people who want these ducts. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on because there's an easy plug, and the printer will turn on. And then once the printer's turned on, I think it's a 10-second delay I have, it'll go ahead and connect to the printer. So you see there, lights flash in the enclosure, because those are driven off the control board. I'm going to go ahead and preheat this, and I'm going to take that part off the bed. All right, and now I can start the print. So if I go here, I can hit print, and it'll start the print. No SD cards. Truth be told, I accidentally printed that duct because I already have one for the guy who emailed us a couple days ago asking about getting the SV06 one printed. Hang on one second. Had to tell the dogs to quiet it down. Yeah, you guys are being too loud. So I accidentally printed that instead of printing the Ender 3S1. But yeah, so this is how we manage all our printers. We have Raspberry Pis here running our EasyPi Octoprint image. We've been out of stock on the EasyPis for over a year now because we can't get Pi boards. But the next thing that's going on this bench right before the SV01 Pro is getting the our Pi kit replacement done. So basically we'll have Octoprint kits as well. So there we go. All right, let's switch back over. I'm just going to keep that up. So I literally just leave these up, and then I check on the prints so I can see when they start. And I go, and I always check my first layer. Even if the printer is known to not need any adjustment, I always check my first layer. Just get in the habit of that. And if you do notice, the other thing too, I saw somebody asking about like needing a baby step. If you're having to do it a lot, like a lot being more than 0.2 millimeters every time, check to make sure that your hot end is actually like fully together and nothing's loose. Because I've had times where I had a machine where I rarely would ever need to touch it, and all of a sudden I'm having to adjust it. And what happened was like the nuts got loose on the sensor, or something on the carriage was loose, like, you know, on the V-slot wheels, like they wore in. And now they're not as tight in terms of tolerances, so the sensor's only going to be as good as everything moving said sensor. So if you got loose parts on your printer, whether it's a V-slot wheel that's going out, maybe you got a bad bearing, it's going to screw the sensor accuracy up. So Wildcat had a motorcycle wreck. That sucks, man. Last surgery saved left leg wheelchair for a year. Holy crap. Bone graft. God, people are such like assholes to motorcyclists. Like I ride as well, and like I actually gotta find my GoPro because I literally run a GoPro on my helmet most of the time. Just in case somebody hits me, I have a recording. Cali Dragon's almost done. You know, and like I said, the stock cooling on this printer isn't terrible. It's slightly better than what would come on an Ender 3. But I always put these on my printers just because if I need to do something more complex, I have the cooling available there. And a lot of people, like I said, they'll actually take the 5015 fans, run them at like half speed if they don't want to have the noise. Like, it's not quiet, but it's not like super loud. I'm sitting right next to it. Let's see. I don't know if this thing still works. I haven't used it in a bit. We're going to find out. So it does apparently still work. Hang on, I'm going to mute my mic and just be really loud. Okay, so my decibel meter still works. So put it right by the printer. We're at like 60 for the total printer noise. So there's that. Let me see here. So that's about, I don't know, 7 inches from the print head. If I pull it to where I'm sitting, I'm going to stop talking so I can get a good reading. It's reading like 53. So, not terrible. All right, let's get zoomed back in here. I'm also wondering if the filament is slightly wet because this is an older roll. I didn't open it until recently, but it is possible that it has moisture in it. That's another thing too. If you guys are getting filament where there's a lot of like stringing and stuff, it's possible that you have moisture in it. This will not let me turn it off. Why is this not turning off? There it goes. Yeah, I bought this to test fans, how loud they are. And I have my testing distances and stuff written down. I can't remember what they're at, but if we don't get specs on a fan, I take the measurements myself. I also have an airflow meter as well. All right, my print's starting. I'm going to check that print. Yeah, that one I probably could have just let it go. It was spot on. All right. Yeah, you know, I should put this in my Sunlu dryer. See, somebody asked about the filament dryer. So if I'm drying a bunch of filaments, I actually have a big food dehydrator. I have a big food dehydrator that I use. Hey, hang on one second. Comet has decided that when he's playing, he's going to be very vocal and like sound vicious. You know, I don't know if you guys have had some dogs where they're just like when they're playing. They're not actually being mean, but they're loud. That's what he's doing. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but anyways, yeah. So for bulk filament drying, I use a big food dehydrator, and that is in our help center. So if you go to support.th3dstudio.com, you can go ahead and see that there. I think it's sitting right here, COSORI. It's literally like on my shelf of stuff. But I have been using the Sunlu, is it the S2, I think? Whatever the second revision is. I actually used it for nylon, and it did a really good job, and we're actually looking at carrying those. I don't know if you guys would be interested in something like that, but I really like it. The only complaint I have is the humidity sensor in it is not super accurate, but the temperature regulation is really good, and I really don't care about the humidity sensor. It's close enough to see that the humidity is dropping, but it's not super accurate. But in terms of a case that's heated to dry the filament, it does do a pretty good job. So, and it's very convenient. Honestly, I'm probably going to throw this roll in there after I'm done printing with it and dry it out, because it's probably where I'm getting all these little extra wispies from. But the wispies are definitely thinner than they were on these other ones. I should have taken a before picture, because these had some wispies on there. I could also probably up my retraction a little bit. I'm going to check and see what my retraction's at right now. I'm at only 1 millimeter retraction distance in my slicer for this. So I could also probably bump it up to like 1.1 and probably get rid of any stringing. But like I said, this is my Ender 3 profile that I just changed the bed size, or Ender 3 S1 profile that I changed the bed size on for the SV06. Does anybody have any fun weekend plans? This is the spot, though, for the cooling where we're going to see, or should see, I should say, the biggest difference is when it does the back of the horns on the dragon. Because on the other one, they were drooping down quite a bit. So that's where we should see the most improvement is on overhangs with these 5015 ducts. Maxi J says a Sovol dual dryer. Do they have a film or a filament dryer? We are looking to add a filament dryer to our product lineup. The Sunlow has been pretty good. Their version 2. I'm looking at the one from Sovol here. See, the one from Sovol. Okay, Sovol makes pretty good stuff, but this just looks really kind of cheap. Like this, I'm sure it probably works, but this looks really cheap, and it's around the same price as the Sunlow one, and I don't really care about having 2 spools to feed from, to be completely honest. Like, the controller on this looks really... Oh, Tor had it. Okay, so Tor's already bought this one. Yeah, this looks really kind of crappy, to be completely honest. Just like first glance. They are cack. I'm assuming you mean like crap. I think it's the Sunlow S2. I have one. So yeah, the S2 filler dryer. I like this one. It just feels, oh God. Why is there music on their site? Is this MySpace? Holy shit. Why do you have music playing on your website? What the hell? But yeah, like, I really like this one. The build quality is good. I like the screen. Like, yeah, it's not super cheap, but I've had really good experience with it. And like, I put filament in there, I dry it, and I get cleaner prints. Like, what more do you want? And you can feed right from it too. Like, it's just a nice, like, here, look at, it's got a really nice screen. That other one just looks cheap. Do you see what I mean by the other one looks cheap? Like, this has got a nice screen with presets and everything. Like, I like this one. And the rollers, like, for feeding filament, like, just ignoring dryer. Like, obviously, I'm not going to spend 60, 70 bucks on a spool holder, but as a spool holder, it works really well because it's got really nice rollers inside there. So you can dry it and feed from it. So it's sitting right there. There's nylon in it right now. So I've been moving it around to printers, testing it out, and it's been great. So, all right. Now this is where we're going to see. We're going to look at the overhangs on the back of this when this is done. I can't believe they had like music blasting. It sounded like I was in a 70s porno when I went to their website. Yeah, yeah, so the cheaper food dehydrators, they work if you don't want to spend a lot of money. I think I spent 100 something on the Kasori one that I linked on the filament drying page in our help center. And I did check it with a thermometer, and it's within 1 degree of what it's set to. So it is a better dryer. And the thing is, you can pack like 5, 6, 7 spools depending on what kind of spools you have. You know, like the coax ones, those are bigger spools. I can fit like 5 in there, but some of the other ones that are thinner spools, I packed like 6 of them in there at one point, and I still had room for more. What's my rule of thumb on retraction? Start low if it's direct drive, and if it's not direct drive, start at like 2 to 3. So low, I mean like 1. So like this profile is where I would start at. And look at that. If you have the Easy Neos, look at it. The lights turn green after the print's done. Beautiful. All right. Let's see. Here, we're going to do what we did last time. So the one that has the E on it, so this one, this is the test print with the stock pulling. We're gonna do it here. So stock cooling is on the left. The one that just finished is on the right. So let me get in close. So you can get in nice and close here. And then I'm going to turn the autofocus off so it's not sitting here hunting the entire time. All right, so let me do, if this is fair for, I got to be fair, so let me hit this one that I just took off the bed with the heat gun like I did the others. That's another thing, a little heat gun like this, not the big heat guns, even though I have some of those in the garage. These little heat guns are great for getting rid of little wispies, because you're going to have prints where the print came out good, but you got like the little wispies on it. So like, here, watch them. It's my magic wand. And then I'm just going to whoop, almost dropped it. Just going to rub it with my fingers. And boom. No more wispies. Oh, I lied. There's one right there. Look at it. All right. So let's compare the two prints. It's the same G-code, same board setup. Like I said, the other print was pretty good. I want to look at these overhangs here. So the other thing that's working against me is this slicer profile. If you notice, I'm starting in the back here. So that's also working against me. Let's look at the other one. So there's that one. I think they look a little cleaner. Oh yeah. Look at, so this one's folded over more. I think if I move my starting seam to the front instead of the back, we'd have cleaner prints. But yeah, there's less drooping on the overhangs. It wasn't terrible on the stock one, but like you can really see it on the right one here. So like you see how that one's like kind of droopy. This one is more adhering to the layers. So I'm trying to think of what would be a good print to show the layer fan difference. But this is also a small print too when you start to get the bigger ones. So when you start to get the bigger prints, it'll start mattering more. But you can see, like, there's definitely some more drooping on the right there. Like, if you look towards the top here. Let me see if I can get that in focus. You guys see what I mean? So little subtle differences. The stock cooling on this printer is not terrible. 5015 though is what I run on all my printers for cooling, just because it's got that extra punch. But yeah, there we go. I don't know if I'll see any other details. Like, let's see under the nose. I don't think this one had too bad of a time there. Like, let's look at it from the side there. There is a little bit of drooping. Let's see if it looks better on the other one, or if it's about the same. Oh, there is less drooping. All right, let's see if I can try to get these side by side. I'm trying here. Like, do you see there's more drooping underneath the dragon's head on this one? So this is the one with the stock cooling. See how that's kind of like sagging down a little bit there versus this guy. There you go. So yeah, that's where you're going to see the most improvement for cooling, is where you have overhangs. Bridging is also improved greatly by having a better cooling fan. So, but there we go. Oh, I didn't even think about looking at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Let's see. So that's the aftermarket cooling. Am I correct? Yep. That's the aftermarket cooling. Eyes look clean, and then let's see the stock cooling. They don't look bad. I mean, I don't know if I can tell the difference between these two for the eyes. Anyways. That looks pretty good. Like, it's not bad. Like I said, the stock cooling's not terrible. It's better than an Ender 3. I don't know why, but I feel like just the overall appearance of this looks smoother. Maybe because it's being cooled better. But, I don't know. You guys tell me. It's a cheap upgrade to do. Like, printed part in the fan and some screws. This is like a sub $20 upgrade. So, anyways, do we have replacement nozzles for the SV06? I believe this takes the same nozzles as the Creality hot ends, if memory serves correct. I gotta find I gotta find the replacement nozzles, but I believe it takes the same MK8 style nozzles. But I'll check that and post an update on our site, because we'll list the nozzles as compatible if they are. I believe so, though. Based on the block, I think it's the same heater block. I'm gonna move this up. All right. I'll check the nozzles out on there, and then we'll post like an update once we figure it out. I believe this takes the nozzles, the same nozzles as the CR10, just looking at the hot end setup. Unless someone else can confirm for me. I'm gonna look here. Yeah, it's the same block as a Creality, so that's an MK8 nozzle. I just pulled the sock down. It's the same heater block. Maybe I'll put an easy flow. I was like, what other upgrades am I gonna do this? I think I'll probably put our fancy nozzles in there, our copper plated nozzles we have. I feel more comparison prints coming on. But at this point, you're at the point where you're getting to diminishing returns. You know, but hey, if you want the best, who am I to stop you from going all out? I mean, I've seen people put, you know, like almost $1,000 into an Ender 3, you know. But anyways, I'm gonna mark this one. So we have S is the stock everything. The E is just the easy board. So I guess I'm gonna put E5 on here. So I know this is the Ender, or not the Ender, the easy board on the SV06 with the 5015 fan. So if I decide to change nozzle, I'll do a test print too. But anyways, I got a customer to email back to let them know that these do work, and I'll send him the bomb. Oh, look how nice these supports come off. Ready? Oh, it's so beautiful. So anyways, also we do, like I said, if you guys want parts that are in ABS and you can't print ABS, we do print services. And like when you get the parts from us, they will come with all the supports removed. So that's included in the fee. So like you won't have to be sitting here cleaning the print up. We do that all before it gets sent out to the customer. So anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, because I probably won't be streaming before next Wednesday's live stream. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And as always, happy printing. Also, who noticed that I made new thumbnails? I did. Did you guys even notice? Or were you not paying attention? I guess I'll never know.